Imagine this. You're with a client, maybe their colleague or boss is there too, and someone says, "But isn't the Enneagram just putting people in little boxes, labeling them with a single-digit number?" And your confidence wobbles just a little. This question comes up a lot, and it does not have to throw you off balance. It's actually a good question because it shows they see the complexity of their people. But it also shows they have not yet seen how a framework like the Enneagram can clarify complexity. Frameworks don't show every detail. They capture patterns. A map, a market model, a sales pipeline, all of these are approximations. But each one helps you see patterns, anticipate behavior, and make better decisions than you would without a framework. The Enneagram is a framework for working with people.
Hey, Julie, I wanted to jump in for just a second because this is exactly where the science lines up with what you're saying. As you know, my graduate research was in selective attention and working memory, so I see all frameworks using that lens. First, they help focus attention. When there's a clear structure, people know where to start and they know what's important, and so they just follow the path and stay with it. Second, they help with working memory. We can only hold so much in our working memory at one time before it drops off. So frameworks are great at providing chunks of information that we can store. We can actually store more that way because the information has been reduced into these chunks. It makes it much easier for people to retain what they're hearing. And third, frameworks enliven the information and make it more engaging. So instead of random ideas, people are building patterns and they're actually connecting that structure to information that they already know. So it provides a scaffold for both the new information and existing information that they have.
Thank you, Stephanie, for showing how frameworks align with how our brain works. In this video, we'll give you a way to think about the Enneagram and talk about the Enneagram when someone pushes back, so that when you feel a little wobble, you'll have a calm, solid response. The concern about boxes and labels makes sense until you start to see the full Enneagram framework. And when you see the framework applied well, the box starts to look more like a window.
Hi, it's me again. When I was teaching learning and memory, it all came back to attention and capacity. We have to pay attention first, and then we can only hold so much in our brain before it's lost. And that's exactly where visuals help. They guide attention so people quickly know what matters most. They chunk information so people can hold on to more and process it. And they make ideas more engaging and connected, so the ideas are more likely to stick and be retrieved later.
Cool. Here's one of our basic maps prepared for Jordan, a social 9. Core type is one of the elements of the Enneagram, maybe the biggest one. It is represented with a number and a name. Jordan is a 9, an adaptive peacemaker. Core type describes someone's basic motivations, values, and fears. Remember, the Enneagram doesn't assign you to one type and ignore all the rest. Most people express most of the types to one degree or the other. The core type is the one that reflects your most consistent patterns, the type that shows up the most. The center of this map shows how the positive qualities of Jordan's type show up in daily life. Every type also has its darker characteristics, challenges, triggers, blind spots, and defense mechanisms. Another element is subtype, sometimes called instinct. It describes where someone's attention normally goes. Where does a person focus first and most often? On their own needs? On their relationships with individuals? Or are they tracking the community, the organization, the society? Jordan's subtype is social. In the Enneagram framework, social style and conflict style describe how someone typically engages with the people around them and how they tend to respond when there's conflict. These are observable behaviors. These terms might feel familiar to you if you've used other tools, but the Enneagram adds context. The behavior makes more sense when you know what motivates it. This map illustrates two elements in the Enneagram framework, core type and subtype. Jordan's tiny label, Social 9, might seem simple, but when you unpack that box, you see the richness, the complexity, clarified into manageable, organized chunks. And that's only two elements of the framework. You know, the Enneagram is more than a small, simple label. It offers someone a structure for understanding patterns that are already there. It can give someone a lens for understanding themselves and the people around them. When someone challenges you on the Enneagram, offer them a fresh look through the framework. Invite them to choose one person or one situation that they find puzzling, and then see if some element of the Enneagram helps them notice something that they haven't seen before. The next time you feel a wobble, notice what happens if you stay calm and curious instead of defensive. You're opening a window on a framework that you already understand well. You're inviting the skeptic to reframe how they view people and interactions. We've created a one-page visual guide to the entire Enneagram framework using simple graphics and plain language. It's the kind of thing you can share with a skeptical client or keep handy for yourself. You can download it free at the link below. And be sure to check out our other videos about using simple, strong graphics to enhance your Enneagram coaching.